Join me as I dive into the nightmare matches for Ten Hag against Crystal Palace and Brighton, and see if I can figure out what went wrong. As Erik ten Hag stepped into the prestigious managerial seat at Manchester United, he knew that history would not wait for him. The towering expectations of Old Trafford could easily become a burden if results didn't come fast. His pedigree from Ajax, renowned for building cohesive, attacking teams, filled the fans with hope. But two names in the Premier League began to haunt his tenure: Crystal Palace and Brighton. These weren't your traditional juggernauts like Liverpool or Manchester City. They were considered mid-table teams, and for a club of Manchester United's stature, they should have been manageable opponents. Yet, in the early stages of Ten Hag's reign, both teams seemed to have a recipe for exposing United's flaws. Brighton, the seagulls that struck first. It was Brighton who first carved a wound into Ten Hag's ambitions. United had played them at home, on a bright day, expecting a comfortable victory. Yet, the reality was far from it. Brighton's organization, sharp passing, and relentless pressing suffocated United's build-up. The midfield was overrun, the defense confused, and the forwards isolated. Brighton's 2-1 victory at Old Trafford was a stark reminder that United was far from the finished article. The fans, already concerned by the inconsistency of the squad, began to wonder if Ten Hag had truly grasped the enormity of the task. Brighton had exposed frailties not only in tactics but in mentality. The team lacked cohesion, confidence, and direction, a nightmare beginning to a new era. Crystal Palace, the Eagles circling. If Brighton had shaken Ten Hag's early days, Crystal Palace made sure to keep the pressure on. Palace, under the steady leadership of Oliver Glasner, had developed a knack for frustrating the biggest teams. Their resilience and ability to hit on the counter was tailor-made for unsettling United, especially a side still finding its feet. Every time United faced Palace, there was an unease about the fixture. Palace knew how to defend deep, absorb pressure, and exploit spaces on the break. With Eberechi leading their charge combined with Palace's midfield solidity, forced United to often retreat, unable to truly dominate. At Selhurst Park, Palace was especially dangerous. Their compact ground, filled with passionate supporters, turned into a cauldron where United struggled to impose their game. Even when United dominated possession, they found themselves caught out by Palace's clever counters or set-piece routines. The tactical headaches. For Ten Hag, these games represented the tactical headaches that the Premier League is notorious for. His Ajax system, based on quick transitions, pressing, and possession, was hard to implement in a league where every team could be a potential threat. Brighton and Palace showed him that it wasn't enough to just have a tactical blueprint. The Premier League demanded adaptability. Both teams were a thorn in United's side for different reasons. Brighton's fluidity and quick transitions contrasted with Palace's rigid structure and counter-attacking prowess, but the results were the same. United, under Ten Hag, couldn't find a way to consistently get the upper hand. The mental block. It wasn't just tactics that haunted Ten Hag, it was the mental block these teams seemed to create for his players. Brighton and Palace weren't just mid-table teams anymore, they became psychological hurdles for United. Each defeat, each disappointing draw, planted seeds of doubt in the minds of United's squad. The media began to question whether United had lost their aura, and fans became restless. For Ten Hag, it became clear that these teams weren't just difficult opponents, but symbols of a deeper problem. United wasn't just struggling tactically, they were struggling to find their identity. The way forward. Ten Hag knew that in order to banish these nightmares, United had to evolve. It wasn't just about finding a solution for Palace's counterattacks or Brighton's pressing. It was about instilling a mental toughness in his squad that would allow them to rise above these hurdles. The road forward for Ten Hag is still full of challenges, but each battle with Brighton and Palace is a chance to turn these nightmares into lessons. United's story under Ten Hag is still being written, but these two teams, Crystal Palace and Brighton, will forever be a part of it, reminding him that no fixture is ever easy, and no opponent is ever too small to haunt your dreams. Conclusion: a battle yet unfinished. As Ten Hag faces these recurring nightmares, Crystal Palace and Brighton have become more than just opponents, they are tests of his evolution as a manager. Each match brings new challenges, tactical refinements, and the opportunity to rebuild Manchester United's fear factor. But with each game, the question remains, can Ten Hag finally conquer the teams that have haunted his tenure? So, what do you think went wrong for Ten Hag in these matches? Do you think he can turn things around, or are these teams just too much for him to handle? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out my other videos on football strategies and analysis. Stay tuned as we continue to follow Manchester United's journey, the ups and downs, and everything in between. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video where we'll dive even deeper into United's season and the road ahead. See you there.